Welcome back to the second part of the program. Nigeria closes borders to neighboring countries, particularly Benin, nearly 2 months now. What are the reasons behind this closure and its trickling ramifications on the two countries? Erika Josia Marquette and Hawa Suleiman Isa have more. It's nearly 2 months since Nigeria closes borders to trade and is taking a serious toll on its neighboring country, Benin. The economic giant banned all imports of goods with its neighbors, particularly Benin. A move targeted at curbing smuggling and to further study and grow its economy. The ramifications are glaring in Cotonou, a functional port of entry for products resold on the gigantic markets in Lagos. Another cause of worry for Nigeria is the cost of petrol, which is half as expensive in neighboring countries. Reports say Benin benefits from Nigeria's oil subsidy system, yet volumes of gasoline are smuggled to Benin. The local consumption of petrol has fallen by 7.2 million litres due to the situation. Analysts say this decrease, if maintained, could save up 32.5 million euros in subsidies to the state each month. Although this ultra-protectionist economic measure is undoubtedly a disaster for neighboring Benin, in Nigeria it remains misunderstood and could have serious consequences for the poor. Since the closure, prices of products such as rice has increased from 22 euros to more than 55 euros per 50 kg bag of rice in 2 months. A real challenge for the poorest who live on less than $2 a day. African countries in the Sub-Saharan zone are likely to see a slower economic growth in 2020. The growth forecasts established by the International Monetary Fund show a sharp decline due to a slowdown in exports driven by the global cost of products such as raw materials, particularly oil. Naya Gomogomo and Freedom Lemois have more.
Global growth remains slow despite an anticipation of slight acceleration in 2020. According to the International Monetary Fund's outlook, growth would be 3.5% next year compared to 3.2% this year. The GDP figures published this year, combined with the overall decline in inflation, suggest lower than expected global activity, which the IMF expects will be revised downwards. The rebound in growth expected in 2020 is fragile. It is based on stabilization in emerging and developing countries currently in difficulty and on progress in the settlement of trade disputes. The growth forecasts concern only a part of the continent, with Sub-Saharan Africa, where uncertainty prevails. The latest IMF growth outlook report for this region shows weakened economic dynamism, with an average growth rate not expected to exceed 3.2% in 2019 and 3.6% in 2020. Inflation, when it falls somewhat, will fall to 8.4% in 2019 and 8% in 2020. Rwanda, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana continue to lead the high-growth countries, with Burundi, Namibia and Angola, which have experienced a considerable slowdown in their raw materials exports, among the last.
Thank you very much for being a big part of this edition of Business Africa. Do follow our various media platforms at Africanews and at Africanews FR. Catch you next time on Business Africa.
À la prochaine.